Well, the good news for today is a lot of the afternoon should be fairly quiet. The bad news is you really need some rain, which I know a lot of folks do. A lot of the afternoon is going to be really quiet. This is a look at the Max track. That's quite a bit of clutter out there. We have no active precipitation beyond some isolated showers this morning. Most of the action right up across Ohio and then back through Illinois. Showers and storms there. That's the tail end of the storms that did hit us yesterday. We had some that got up to severe levels, had some trees down in some of our eastern counties. Also way down south around Williamsburg and McQuarrie County and back towards Bardstown. They had some heavy rain. Marginal risk for severe storms today and tomorrow. So the higher severe threat is remaining out of state, but tomorrow it's out towards Baltimore and D.C. We've still got this old frontal boundary draped across northern Kentucky, southern Indiana. That's where these storms are firing closer to that boundary. And what's going to happen today is it'll lift north. So that'll help concentrate a lot of the activity today just to our north across Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. So we'll see a few showers and thunder showers. I do think we may have a few that'll dive south late this evening. May hold together enough to give us some stronger wind gusts and heavy rain, but the primary recipients of that would likely be northern Kentucky and bluegrass counties. Southeastern Kentucky, another day probably high and dry. Now that won't remain the case. Later this week, you notice these rounds keep coming in. Another one Wednesday and Wednesday night. And then Thursday, as a cold front drops in, we may have our best chance for southeastern Kentucky developing as these showers and storms fire and that boundary slips south. That will signal an end to this stagnant pattern that we're in this week and changes ahead for the weekend. 24-hour rainfall totals, 0.2 of an inch in Winchester, 1.4 inches in E-Town. They got soaked yesterday at around E-Town, farther west. Down towards Whitesburg, 0.9 of an inch total. So yeah, very extreme precipitation. Some folks over an inch or up to it. Some folks high and dry yet again. And the future track shows it'll be hit or miss again later this week, but we will have a good chance for folks to pick up precipitation that need some. And hopefully you won't get too much because it could end up with an inch or two when it's all said and done. 71 degrees, the dew point's still very swampy, 60s and 70s. That doesn't really change. It's staying pretty much tropical. I'm sure you've felt it lately if you've been outside. And the future heat index at times running in the mid to upper 90s unless you have a shower storm fire up, which will help cool things down, block some of that sunshine. Doesn't really help with the humidity, but here you can see the impact possibly of more widespread showers and storms tomorrow, kind of taking the edge off the heat and humidity. Speaking of which, the only lone heat warnings, or I should say excessive heat warnings and heat advisories that are up, mid-Atlantic states. So North Carolina, Virginia, parts of South Carolina, and then running up northeast, they do still have a little bit of that hanging on there. For us, it's just elevated heat and humidity, but not record-breaking. Around 90 today, upper 80s tomorrow. We'll cool down to the mid-80s in the wake of all those showers and storms, and then start to heat back up as high pressure clamps down and the sun comes back out this weekend.